I want to stand in front of the light here. Good afternoon, everybody. Appreciate you spending a couple minutes with me talking about sustainable energy, talking about renewable energy, talking about a global crisis that we all know exists, and everyone can agree exists, an existential crisis in climate change. So my background specifically, I spent over a decade on Wall Street. I was an energy trader. I spent time at Morgan Stanley and Deutsche Bank. Spent countless hours studying power grids, looking at domestic power grids, international power grids, and recognized that there's an incredible amount of inefficiency. There's a whole marketplace that exists on inefficiency and power. A handful of years ago, Texas power markets, the U.S. power markets went through an incredible change. We saw disruption in solar, we saw disruption in wind, we saw business models changing, and we saw an emergence of regional-based, domestic and regional state-specific programs to accelerate adoption of energy. And that was the protocol and program for the U.S. government and other governments around the world. Kyoto Protocol, Paris Climate Accord. Everyone agrees that there's a problem, and there's a significant amount of money and resources that are being dumped into renewable energy in general. I'm going to go through this a bit quicker. Incentives end up being the problem. Right, so we have, everyone can agree that renewable energy, sustainable energy needs to happen faster. The news report came out yesterday from the World Bank. We are in dire straits. I'm glad we're on a boat because this is where people are going to be living. So, again, climate change, bad. Renewable energy, good. We're moving very slow to make it happen. Less than 5% of the total installed capacity for energy is renewable. The system's broken. Big money associated with it. Everybody agrees there's big problems. Major problems with incentives. They're created by regulators. They're created by the government. They don't know what they're doing, the bottom line. So really, they incentivize the wrong type of behavior. You get perverse incentives. You get unintended consequences. Unintended consequences right here in California. Right now, power prices are probably negative. Too much solar, not enough battery. In Texas, same problem. Too much wind, not enough solar. And this problem exists all over the world. In Germany, which has a significant amount of renewable energy in general, they actually produce more carbon than ever before, which is completely bizarre. So there's a problem, there's waste, there's fraud, there's misreporting, terrible information, and no universal governance mechanism to make it work. So we're Switch. This doesn't work. Anyway, so we're Switch. We're creating a global incentive platform. We incentivize, basically we track, verify renewable energy at its source, use blockchain to do it. We also have something that's very core and key to what we work on is this is the incentive piece. Static incentives, they don't work. They're simple, they're boring, they treat all assets equally, and something that we've created to make this work is something called a dynamic adaptive control. It's an Oracle-based allocation of tokens based off impact on a network. Now this is something that's new, and this is something that can be adapted to almost any thing that needs a feedback loop, right? Rather than just set it and forget it, this thing that we're building creates and has the mechanism designed so that when things happen, there's a reward, and that reward then gets refed, and then the rewards change. All the rewards afterwards change. And so we have defined something called an objective function in our process. The objective function is to reduce carbon. 1 kilowatt or 1 megawatt of energy in Northern California versus 1 kilowatt or 1 megawatt of energy in Jamaica will have different impacts to the world due to the generation mix in those power grids. Don't have very much time. Anyway, we have a global incentive protocol. We produce rather than consume. We reward for production rather than consumption. We have an active pilot now, a proof of concept and a test net in Germany, which is probably one of the largest that's out there, 1.5 gigawatts and over 100 assets. This is the design of the Switch Oracle. It ingests information. You have verified information as well, dynamic inputs, dynamic variables, and dynamic models for allocation of the fairer resources. So it's a smarter reward system. This is what the world needs. The dumb reward system, it hasn't worked, and it's not going to. Anyway, our roadmap, low friction. We're already working with giant partners in the United States and abroad, globally. Lendlease, a huge company. They build solar projects. They love our project. Anyway, work with big companies first, small companies second, prosumers third. You want to get everybody involved to make this work. This is kind of Switch versus other people in the kind of the energy ecosystem. A lot of people are focused on transactive energy. We love transactive energy. We're not a transactive energy company. Distributed energy resources will play a role in how we consume power, but an app that trades with your friends, I mean, I'm the only person who might use that. Token distribution, we got a token model. These are our big partners, Korean partners, corporate partners, infrastructure partners are the top line, data partners are the second line, working with MIT Media Lab and the Cityscope project, and Autonomy is helping us kind of get to that edge level architecture. We got a great team. Some of them are here today. Myself, Andrew, Andrew's not here. John, Peter, we're just doing big things. We got smart people involved. Great advisory board, MIT executives, people from Stanford, guys in IoT. I mean, we stacked the deck because we want to do something big, and we need the brightest minds to do it. DNA, they're in the house as well. We're working with them. Steve Jurvetson speaking tomorrow. Super excited about having him on board as kind of one of the first investors in a lot of these disruptive energy ecosystems and renewable energy projects. And I think that's it. Anyway, the clicker doesn't work for the next presenter, so have a great day, enjoy. And you can find us online, Telegram, Facebook, Instagram.